I was a cheerleader. So go in there being present, yelling, like being like where people can actually interact. TV is like, what are we doing? We're yelling. They can't hear us.
Welcome back to another episode of The Lofty Lender. Today, I am joined by a good friend and awesome agent, Rachel Tiskevics. Rachel's a dedicated real estate professional with deep roots in small-town life growing up in Pella, Iowa. After living in several states, including Florida, New York, Texas, Missouri, and Tennessee, Rachel returned to her heart home of Iowa, where she and her husband, Don, chose to raise their family. Married for over 33 years, they have 3 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, and 2 grandsons. Through her own experiences relocating and settling in new places, Rachel has developed a passion for helping others navigate the challenges and joys of moving. She specializes in making home buying and selling as smooth and stress-free as possible, bringing both expertise and empathy to the process. Rachel's business is guided by 4 core principles: relationship, trust, respect, and excellence. These values define every decision she makes and the vendors and agents she partners with. Her clients know her as an agent who prioritizes their needs, values honesty, and stays by their side throughout the entire process, not just until the offer is accepted. Rachel's committed to providing exceptional service and strives to create experiences that leave her clients eager to recommend her to others. With Rachel Tiskevics Real Estate, you'll find an agent who truly cares and goes above and beyond to ensure your journey is a joyful one. And that's what it says there, and I totally can agree. So I can attest to that. Absolutely. Welcome to the show.
Good deal. Thanks for having me, Kyle.
So, Rachel, I know I've talked to you about this before, but share with our audience how you got into real estate in the first place.
Yeah. So I ended up working for a builder back when we lived in Nashville, Tennessee. I was a homeschooling mom at the time, and we lived in a new development, and the builder learned that I was home during the day with the boys and thought, well, maybe she could open up the model homes, in the afternoon. So I didn't know what I didn't know. So I wonder if that was like legal or not back then in 2007. I don't know. I didn't talk real estate, though. He was very specific that I would just open up the homes. I made the coffee. He had little chocolate chip cookie pucks in the freezer that I had put in the oven every single time, and just made sure the wallflowers were good in the home, that everything smelled good. The homes were beautifully staged. I mean, these homes were absolutely gorgeous. We lived in a little development called Riverwalk in Cumberland, near the Cumberland River, and it was gorgeous. But anyway, so that was my first real estate gig without being an agent. And then I really wanted to become an agent, but we ended up moving back to Iowa, and there are a lot of agents in Pella. So Kyle can attest to this. Kyle has some Pella connections as well. And so I didn't pursue it. I ended up working for Pella Corporation instead in customer service, but really gained some great skills with that. So I'm very thankful for that. I think timing is everything. And so just over the course of the years, as time went by, one of my friends that I had worked with at Pella Corp was a real estate agent and said, Rachel, why aren't you selling real estate with me? So that just prompted some conversations. And after some thoughtful conversations and some prayer, really felt like this was a good time for me to jump into real estate. And it's been great. It's been a great fit.
That's awesome. So then what have you found to be the most fulfilling piece of your job?
The relationships, definitely the trust. When I sit across the table from someone and they're making one of the largest purchases they're ever going to make in their life, and I can look them in the eye and know that we're on the same page and that they trust me in the process. Although I'm not responsible for every piece of the process, obviously agents have their role. We can't control everything. Just trying to maintain that relationship and trust is probably the best part of the process for me.
So you talked about those 4 key principles that you follow everything through, and it reminds me of a book called Principle-Centered Leadership by Stephen Covey, and having your core principles. What can you tell me is the most recent example of when you had to make a decision that was based on those principles, whether it be a conversation you're having with a client or something tough just came up? Give us something.
Yeah. Well, just yesterday, actually, I've got a closing today, and life happens while you're planning on something else, right? And, closers have been in a challenging situation life-wise, so communications weren't happening in a timely manner, and it's not a fault of anyone. It's just, stuff happens, and trying to maintain and keep that calm and that sense of calm with the client, even just like at that moment, I know this client well enough to just like hug that client, like, it's going to be okay. We're going to figure it out. We're going to close tomorrow, and just then that TLC, and then calling them again this morning, just constant touches, little extra communication then during those times. I feel like that goes a long way because, as we all know, and as a lender, Kyle, you're great at communications. You're really good at the weekly and the touch points. Not everyone is. So when you have those situations where there's not a lot of communication and the buyer is just feeling like they're in la la land and they have no clue what's going on, just trying to maintain that touch point of communication and that consistency, even if no one else in the transaction is.
That's definitely a challenge. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
So how has relocating across all these different states then shaped who you are, and how has that made you a better agent?
Definitely just knowing all of the details that go along with that. My husband, Don, and I have moved several times before we had kids, and then we've moved several times after we've had our children. So I know what it looks like both just as a young adult, some of the things you need to know or don't need to know, but then also with kids, like all of the things, the schools, the amenities, the sports, the recreation opportunities, just the walkability, the activities, the rec center, the art classes, all of the things, especially being homeschooled. Our boys were homeschooled for probably 4.5 years of their school life. And then being in school, like, I just know like what to maybe have them suggest as like a tour to do, or I would do your due diligence on this piece, because it does really go beyond like what school district you're in, like what's important to you, what's important to your life, and making sure that those things are going to be encompassed around the place that they choose to live. Because of all those moves, I know what it's like to find a great house or apartment, but then you realize, oh shoot, that's like really far away from this. And we didn't think that through. We just kind of fell in love with the place. So I really encourage clients to look at all of the factors. So we're doing a lot of due diligence and a lot of research, and we're not just buying a home, we're choosing a lifestyle with our next move.
So then you must have a crystal ball of some sort, because Pella, I don't think, was all of those things when you first probably moved there. I don't think they had all the amenities they do now. And Pella's really becoming a up-and-coming town. Everybody wants to move there. Housing prices are a lot higher than the metro. How did you kind of know, or did it just have enough of the boxes checked for you that was the place? I mean, you've lived all over the country and you chose Pella.
Yeah, actually, schools were a huge factor. Safety was a huge factor. So Pella was rated one of the top best 3 places to live, according to USA Today, back in 2019, I believe. And it's just one of those towns that, because I'm from here, right? So I did grow up here. My dad worked at Pella Corporation for 46 years.
Gotcha.
So I was in the school system. I went to both public and Pella Christian. Then I ended up having my senior year down in Florida. So I did know enough to be able to understand what was available. And even though you're right, Kyle, even though Pella's growing and is changing, honestly, the amenities have always been here. You just had to know where to look for them. Like we've always had, art classes, and we've always had music, opportunities. You just have to know who to call. They've always had recreation basketball, or you could join the bigger teams. You just had to know who the connection point was. Visit Pella has been huge improvement with that too, because now Pace Alliance and Visit Pella, both of them, really encompass, they're like a Google for Pella, if you will. So that's definitely easier now than it was when we did move back. So I think just me being from here, though, I do have a lot of personal connections and really know who to reach out to.
So Pella is obviously a town with a lot of everybody knows everybody, right? And you obviously have a close-knit family. It was something you talked about in your bio. How do you balance the roles between being a wife, a mom, now a grandmother? Obviously, being a grandmother, that takes up probably the most part of your time, right? Like that's the best part. You want to do all that stuff, feed them sugar, and get them the heck out of the house. But
I'm not allowed to do that. I have a very organic son and daughter-in-law that they feed them very carefully. But no, it is a good balance. I feel like just as a Christian too, just the challenge of every single day, just the mindset. The have-tos, the should-dos, the could-dos, what's the most important, what's the best use of my time today is really important, because I do have some kind of unique factors. Our kids are actually all out of state. So I can't just go down the street and go see them. So I have to strategically plan. Every other month has been my goal to see my grandbabies. So just, I put everything on my business, credit card, and I like rack up points to be able to fly. So I just try to get down to see them every other month, and then the FaceTimes and things like that. But then also my sons are still super important to me. So just keeping those connections. We have like a group chat. I do get involved in a lot of the community functions. So my kids know, that my job, that my role, it's not really a job. Real estate's a career. It's a lifestyle. And they know that. So even when we are together, we're out about, although I try to protect that time, they do understand kind of what we've signed up for though. So if I get those calls when we're together, or I have to go take care of that offer, it's just part of what we do. And that's why though that people trust us, because we're there for them no matter what. So I think every day it's just a balance of, what do I need to do right now? What can wait? And who do I need to take care of at this moment?
So my next question then is kind of a follow-up on that, but I don't think I've ever seen you do this. How do you relax?
How do I relax?
Yeah.
Typically at night, my husband and I will sit together, even if it's for like 30 minutes. And we're always like communicating during the day. But honestly, we like to just sit together on the couch, and he's always like been like a download watching just a show of some sort. So whatever that is, we'll go through different series, and thankfully we like some of the same things. Obviously when he travels, I'll binge watch what I want to see. But when we're together, we just have like just some time together at night. We'll sit by the fireplace and just spend that time together, and just the tender moments. We've been married 33 years. We still hold hands. We're still very, very just, we love each other very much. So just spending that quality time together, even if we're not saying anything, that's how I really download.
Awesome. So how do you see your business growing? Are you looking at trying to add people to your team and grow RTRE? Are you, what's the thoughts there?
Yeah. So I've kind of navigated over the years. I really don't want to be a team lead, but I do want to attract great talent to be like collaborative within EXP, but also within the community. Like I'm looking to host a business planning strategic session in January and invite all the agents, because I love to work across the aisle from, with everybody. That's one of the favorite things too that I like to do, is building relationships with agents. So yeah, I think I'm better as a solo agent, but having great relationships, being a good resource for people. So I do have I think you've seen my other office. I don't know if you've seen this new one yet. I do have more space now. So really hoping to allow other agents to come, and maybe they just need a drop spot. Maybe they just need to hook into internet, have a conference room that's available to them, have a closing room. So I'm looking forward to that in 2025, is just sharing my space, because it's a great place. It's right on the square. So just more of that. I would like to have CEUs as well. So be able to offer some of those services, maybe even coaching at some point. I'd really love to coach new agents. So that's something I'm looking to do. And there's a need for that. I feel like there's a small town agent. We're not always the big, city Tom Ferry, go kick it, although you can. I feel like there's a lot that is needed when it comes to just how do you be an agent in a smaller market, and kind of looking to tap into that as well.
Yeah, and I definitely can attest to agents in smaller markets sometimes do things totally different. I get a purchase agreement, and I think I know what I'm doing, but now you're starting to question me on whether or not I know how to do my job, because you're sending me all this stuff that I don't ever see. So yeah, it's absolutely an opportunity to, mesh some of and Pella is kind of that happy medium. There's definitely smaller town agents around, but you have some of the big city stuff, and you operate very similar to most agents in Des Moines. You do a lot of business already up here, but there's definitely some agents down there that operate like it's, middle of nowhere, Nebraska, I guess.
Yeah, they do. It's a good way to put it.
So, all right, let's get into the quick pick segment. I'm going to ask you kind of a this or that question. Tell me the first thing that comes to mind, and if you want to expand, you can. So, Pella Tulip Time or Des Moines Farmers Market?
Pella Tulip Time.
Yeah, I figured that one. Iowa Sweet Corn or homemade Dutch letters?
Oh, homemade Dutch letters.
Do you make them yourself?
I have. I don't have time in my season of life to bake. I love to bake. I don't do it now. I buy them from people that do.
They're probably better. No offense.
Yes.
A quiet evening at home or a night out in downtown Des Moines?
Quiet evening at home. Yeah.
Helping first-time homebuyers or guiding families relocating to Iowa?
Guiding families relocating to Iowa.
See a lot of people that are across the country that have been in those exact same shoes you've been, right?
Yes. And amazingly, Kyle, they find me online. I think because my bio specifies what I've done when they're searching for an agent, they're like, ooh, and it works out really great.
So I guess I shouldn't say that. Are you connected to a relocation company as well to find
Yes,
people that way?
I'm a certified relocation agent with EXP.
Got it. Awesome. Spring tulip blooms or fall harvest festivals?
Fall harvest festivals on that one.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if this is a duplicate question or what. I definitely put these together ahead of time, but no. Good to know. Florida sunshine or Iowa snow-covered fields?
Florida sunshine.
Cooking a family meal or enjoying a dinner at a local favorite restaurant?
Enjoying a dinner at a local family restaurant or favorite restaurant. Yeah.
Simply because you don't have the time to cook? Or are you a better baker than cooker?
More so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
My wife is an amazing cook. Baking is not her strength.
Okay. We could do a meal together and we'd probably do it really.
There you go. You bring the dessert. We'll bring all the meal. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hosting a backyard barbecue or attending a community event?
Attending a community event, actually. Yeah.
Small town charm or big city conveniences?
Small town charm.
I don't know why ChatGPT recommended all these questions. These are just like, I can answer these for you.
Right?
Spending time with grandkids or unwinding with a favorite book? This one's real. I don't know this one.
Oh, spending time with grandkids, 100%. Even though they totally wear me out. They're adorable, but yeah.
How old are they?
They're 3 and 2.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough stage.
Yeah. It's great, though. It's so fun.
Their imagination at that age is just so far beyond anything I can imagine. And they're like, play with me, but don't touch my toys.
Exactly. And they're both boys. So they're just like, go, 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 go. Yeah. It's fun.
College football Saturdays or a quiet Sunday drive through Iowa countryside?
Quiet Sunday drive through Iowa countryside. I hate watching football on TV. Just,
Fair. Okay.
Go to the game, yes. I was a cheerleader, so go in there being present, yelling, like being like where people can actually interact. TV is like, what are we doing? We're yelling. They can't hear us. So anyway.
Or you just don't yell. I mean, that's one thing. Maybe Dawn yells too much.
You yell, Kyle. You're like, go get it.
Okay, well, I'm going off script then. Would you rather go see a game in person or go to a concert?
Well, that's hard because I'm a musician. That was a tough one. It depends on who's playing and who the concert is. Is that fair?
Sure. Whatever works. I'll take it. I would rather go to a game because when I go to concerts, everybody gets mad because I'm 6'10" and I stand up and they can't see. And the last concert I think I went to was when Garth Brooks came to town and he was at the Wells Fargo Arena and I sat up in the nosebleeds just so that if I stood up, nobody cared. They were in the nosebleeds. I get people throwing stuff at me. It's horrible.
That's so not fair to you. It's just you can't help it.
And I can't see and I can't hear very well either. So it's not like it's really helpful for me to go to a concert.
I really feel very sorry for you. That just brings me a whole nother level of empathy for you, Kyle.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Life's hard being 6'10" sometimes.
I bet it is. My boys are 6'5". You've got another, and they have a hard time. You're 5, you got 5 inches on them. That's crazy.
Going to a bar or a place where everybody is standing and I'm way up above them. Same thing. I'm sure your boys experience that. Their friends are all talking. You're like, I have no idea what you guys are saying. The music's too loud. Fixer-upper opportunities or move-in ready homes?
Move-in ready homes.
But you do some fixer-upper stuff yourself, right?
We do, but now that I've worked with a builder for a couple of years, like, don't get me wrong, I like both. Like, if it's a historical home and it's worth fixing up and the bones are good, yeah. But there's a lot of, like, really tough real estate, I feel like, especially in, like, the smaller towns, the older part of the town. Oh, sometimes those are just, you don't even know what you're getting into until you start getting them out. So in a peaceful realm, yeah, give me a home that's, like, More move-in ready, for
Fair.
sure.
Morning walks in a local park or evening strolls in the neighborhood?
Morning walks in a local park. I'm a morning girl.
You're up in the morning, out about, and then in the evenings you're laying in bed watching TV. Got it.
Yep.
Snowy winter day or a warm summer evening?
Oh, I actually like both of those. If I had one right now, is just a snowy winter day. Like that sounds good right now, just because I'm tired. It's the end of the year. We've worked hard, right? It's time to, no, not you. Are you the summer? Okay.
You're a real estate agent, so you're out in the snow or outside all the
Right.
time, which is great, right? But
Right.
snowy winter day, that just, other than having fun in the car and whipping it around and, sliding on ice, I love that stuff. But being out in it, the older I get, the more I'm like, I can't wait to move south, even though the South is getting so hot these days. But whole other topic.
Yeah.
Favorite vacation you've ever taken?
Oh man, we went to Winter Park. Let's see. It was Colorado. Yeah, it was Winter Park. I think that's right. There's a ski town.
Okay.
We hadn't been skiing with the boys, I don't think ever. And Daniel was married. Ben and Jonathan were still in high school. And we drove up, and it was like literally like in a scene in Lord of the Rings where there was like snow everywhere. We were coming up on these windy roads and we had multiple vehicles and all the trees were just like loaded with snow. And it was this, cottage, like cozy place we got to stay, and it had like a walkway, and you've got families coming down the hill. It was just, the fireplace. That was definitely my favorite vacation. It's awesome.
How long were you there?
We were there for probably 4 or 5 days. I don't think we were there for a full week. I think we were there for 4 or 5 days.
That sounds awesome. You just reminded me of a trip that my wife and I took, and it was kind of the same thing, except we were in a little horse barn, and it was like a Airbnb thing. You were up in the loft on top of the horses, and down below they had the horses. They had fresh eggs in the refrigerator, and it was just kind of this cute
nice
little place. And we were there one night, and I was like, this would be cool to stay and hang out. We were in the middle of Kentucky, and down there that's AT&T country. So if your phone is Verizon like we had at the time, you have no service. So we were literally on an island or unable to be reached, and it was amazing. My phone couldn't ring. I couldn't even get GPS to work to figure out where the heck to go. So
wow, that's fun.
All right, let's get into the trending topic. So what makes EXP really stand out to agents, especially during this time when so many agents are considering making a switch?
Yeah, definitely because of the share that we have in the company itself. So EXP is actually owned. It's a publicly traded company, but it's the owners are actually the agents. So we can choose, because it's an online brokerage, we don't have like the larger fees to go to the brick and mortar and the bigger machine. So we can just choose to put whatever we want off of every transaction or just separately into our stock. And that's been phenomenal, Kyle. So I've been with 3 different brokerages. They've all had, things that were good about them. There's always pros and cons. But EXP, I feel like, is the only one I've ever felt like I actually have ownership in the company. And if I help someone would be normally considered as a competitor if you're with one of the other brokerages, actually by helping them, I'm actually still helping myself. So, and that doesn't feel selfish because it's more like we all own this together. So let's truly help each other, because if you do well, I do well, the stock's doing well. So it takes away that kind of fiercely competitive piece of it. It just neutralizes it so that we're all like truly cheerleader for each other. So that's why I think people will continue to see that about EXP and choose EXP, because you actually have nothing to lose by being a part of the network. You only have great things to gain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, it's a pleasure having you on here today. I would like you to provide to the listeners your contact information so that they can get a hold of you if they want to learn anything about Pella, maybe about moving across 15 different states, maybe across anything. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can either call me at 641-230-0537, or they can email me at Rachel, Rachel, at RTRE, which is just Rachel Tiskevics Real Estate, and then the word experience.com. or they can go to my website at rtreexperience.com.
Awesome. Well,
Yep.
Rachel, thanks again. Appreciate having you here today.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate being invited.
And we hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it valuable. Merry Christmas to you all as well. And to Rachel, and be sure to follow us on any social media platforms. Have an awesome end of or beginning of the year, I guess. This will be coming out January. But we hope you all had a happy holidays, and stay safe out there. Stay curious. We'll see you next week on The Lofty Lender.
Thanks.